everyone, and good afternoon. My name is Rich Longo, and I'll be your host for today's presentation. Thank you for joining us for another Flycast Partners webinar. Today's webinar presentation, Managing Your Workload, will be presented by Bobby McCullough. Bobby has been in the IT industry for over 20 plus years and has come here to Flycast Partners the last couple of those years to help us reach out to those interested in digital transformation. He has been involved in the implementation of multiple tools for major multinational financial organization, software engineer for the United States Postal Service, ITIL V3 and Scrum certified with experience in ITSM, ITFM, ITAM, and digital transformation. Before we get started today, Bobby, let me introduce our organization. Flycast Partners is here to deliver a seriously amazing IT experience. We are founded and staffed by personnel who have many, many years of experience in the IT space. It took the best ideas from these collective experiences and added the best components necessary to grow and become the leading value-added reseller in the North American IT market. We offer best-in-class implementation services and training in IT service management, IT asset management, IT operations management, workload automation, and enterprise service management spaces using ITIL best practices. Our professional services can easily scale up or down to meet the IT needs of any customer, regardless of size, complexity, or budgetary restrictions. We offer implementation services both on-site and remote, as well as training to reinforce your company's long-term IT success. Our ongoing remote administration support service offerings will enable your organization to focus on your normal day-to-day operations, saving you both precious time and money. Please visit our website at www.flycastpartners.com and chat with one of our IT specialists that are live Monday through Friday during normal business hours. Feel free to also call us at 844-FLYCAST. That's 844-359-2278. And this is just one of many, many weekly webinars we offer here at Flycast Partners, and I encourage you to root around on our website a little bit and check out some of the upcoming events that we have coming your way. We have a Windows 10 migration, but most importantly, ITIL V4 is coming out on 3/7. That's March 7th, right around the corner at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Definitely an event that you do not want to miss. I encourage you to check out data sheets and white papers and training and various live events that we have going on out there, and join us for some of our virtual lunch and learns. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and turn this presentation over to the star of the hour, Mr. Bobby McCullough. Bobby, how are you doing today up there in Tennessee?
Great. Doing good today, Rich. Spring is trying to spring.
It's definitely sprung here. It's beautiful here right now. It's like in the mid-80s. It's sunny. There's no clouds in the sky. It's nice.
We don't want to hear you bragging.
Well, I'll let you turn it over. I have video is live. It looks like your deck is up and ready to go.
Great. Thanks, Rich. Welcome, everybody. Today we're going to talk about managing your workloads. Our flagship product for that is Control-M. These are we're going to go through the capabilities of that tool. It's not the only solution that we have in this area, so give us a call to talk about these things so we can see what's a good fit for you. But before I talk though about Control-M, I want to talk a little bit about visualizing your IT processes. So if you're like most organizations, you've got several thousand jobs that your workload managers are trying to handle. You know, different scripts, file transfers, executables. Maybe it's some orchestration that happens within your infrastructure or out in the cloud. It's a little difficult to visualize all those processes, and thinking about that really reminds me of when my son was in Cub Scouts. Now, we're both a little bit bigger now. He's a little taller, and I think I may be a little the other way. He's nearly an Eagle Scout now, but this is when he was very, very first was a Wolf Scout, and we were going to this cave. It's an overnight trip, and really neat. They take you in. They take you on the trips through the cave, and then you've got a place to spend the night overnight in there, and it's really cool for the kids. For the parents, not so much. There's lots of boys. They're all cute, little. They've got those little sweet voices that, at this point in time, they all sound the same, and they're in the cave. So their voices are echoing off the walls and stuff. So it's absolutely impossible to pick out which kid is yours in that group. And now, granted, I was a scout leader, so I was responsible for more than my kid. But there was a lady back at home that would have been very upset if he wasn't a priority for me. And so this first trip, I realized that unless their face was lit up by light, and there were some lights in the cave, unless their faces were lit up, there really was no way to pick out which one of these kids was mine. So I came up with a brilliant idea our second year. And I got him a fluorescent necklace. So not only in that cave would it light up his face a little bit, but I could pick him out in a second. I knew right away which one was his. Didn't matter where the voice was coming from. I could look for that necklace, and I could see him. I could visualize. Knew right away which one needed my attention. Now the third year. I had to outsmart everybody because I knew what was going to happen. I knew that the other parents were going to bring fluorescent necklaces for their kids. And so because it was a Cub Scout trip, I convinced my son to wear a pink necklace because I knew none of the other boys would. And I was able to instantly pick my son out for another year. Visibility is key. When you're in a situation where there could be a lot of noise, things that need your attention need to be able to get your attention. So visibility is critical in these kind of situations. So for today's webinar, we're gonna assume that there's a new application out that everybody's using. We're gonna call it Your App, and it helps you do everything: pay bills, get groceries, find somebody to clean your gutters, maybe wash your dogs. I don't know if you guys can tell, these are all things that I need done like yesterday. Google is out there, and it's sort of the easy button of finding things. You need to find who was governor of California in a certain date. Where is the country Monrovia? Is there a country Monrovia? You can find all that stuff out through Google. Again, easy button of finding things. Or this imaginary app, let's say it's going to be maybe the easy button of getting things done. So to get things done, this app is going to have to pull a lot of information together from a lot of different systems, multiple vendors, multiple data sets. It'd have to be very complicated, very powerful. In fact, what ends up being delivered to your screen on your mobile device is really the culmination of a lot of back-end processes. Think about that Amazon app on your phone. There's really a lot of back-end moving around of data, scripts on the data to link it up. I think you guys probably understand what I'm saying here. Think about within your own companies, the service applications or payroll applications where it's having to bring in data from multiple places, marry that data up, maybe run some process on it or script, to then have some kind of output. So really, these apps that you might be using, they're really a collection of more than what you see on your screen. This Your App is really more than just an app. It's a collection of systems and data sets that are married in a way so that it can deliver what's needed when it's needed, sort of like Google at finding things. Your app is an example of what we call a digital service. Now, today, as companies manage their digital service, they have to ensure delivery and availability of things like your app and payroll. That's probably the internal system that we all have that touches all of us. Digital services can mean many things to many organizations. However, they're typically the result of infrastructure, systems, applications, and processing, all coming together in an expected way to deliver an output when you need it and the output that you need. So here we're looking at the Control-M self-service app, and it's sort of the processing associated with all those digital services. So in the same way that your mobile app empowers you, your app empowers you to get stuff done, Control-M self-service is going to be able to empower your users, your business owners, and even your stakeholders, because it can provide real-time visibility into your workload automation, just like those fluorescent necklaces in the caves to light up your little boys. So using your app as an example, or maybe your company payroll, think about all the processing, the data that's moving around and being transformed, all executing on a multitude of systems and applications, maybe in your data center, maybe some in the cloud. All those things going on in the background that ultimately end up on your iPhone in the form of your app. If some piece of that isn't running, then your app isn't running. So think about this scenario for a second. What if you're in charge of these jobs, and I call you to say, hey, job X1Z2 failed. What does that tell you? How do you react to something like that? And the option is, what if I called and told you that your app service was at risk of meeting its SLA? How would you react to that? So the reality is that what's going on in the real world, if your app, the service is late, you could be using outdated information. Maybe the dog washer's schedule isn't updated, or what's on sale at the grocery store and available in stock for delivery isn't available. So all that information's not coming together in a timely manner. There's going to be an unhappy customer, and it could incur most likely reputational impact. Jump on Twitter and complain. But it may be something that's financial. It may inhibit sales or have other costs associated with it. So this is why understanding the correlation between IT and what's going on in the business is crucial. This is where, sort of innovative IT and industrial IT are going to come together. So where do we begin? Well, we talked about your app being more than just an app. If you dig a little bit deeper, you can see all the processes maybe that make it up. And just like other examples, what makes up a service can be any number of technologies or applications. It may involve middleware, ETL tools, big data. This is all today's IT environment. It's a vast collection of systems and tools that are disconnected and siloed. Siloed people and siloed processes. Workload automation has evolved dramatically in the past 10 years. And today, achieving a truly single pane of glass is possible. It usually requires different levels of integration. And BMC has a long history of releasing out-of-the-box integrations. These are just some of the standard integrations that are available with Control-M. So, you've got your entire environment that you want to encompass with the tool. So we need to be able to touch on things in your distributed environment. Also for companies that still have legacy mainframe systems, you might need some processes in there as well. File transfers between those systems, between your systems and external systems. Control M has those integrations right out of the box. Now, sometimes though, out of the box isn't enough, and if we want to be technologically agile, we've got to be flexible, and so you get flexibility in the tool because you can create your own integrations. So whether it's a third-party application or it's a homegrown solution, you've got the power, you've got the freedom to integrate your own business as the technology evolves. Now, really, this opens it up to limitless integration, orchestration tools, automation tools, and then drastically improving your time to value by accelerating build, test, and deployment. And I'm going to show you a bit of that here as we get on into the presentation today. So let's move on. Let's assume we've integrated our maybe our data into our data warehouse, our CRM, other relevant applications, and so we've got the workload all defined in Control M. Now we can, in many cases, categorize a group a subset of those jobs into a service, and then name that service something that's meaningful to the business. Oh, got a little too far ahead here. Hang on, guys. Name that service something that's relevant to your business, something that's meaningful. So, for example, if we identify a group of maybe 30 jobs that it takes to complete for payroll to be considered successful, you could easily name that payroll. That's something that everybody understands. When the payroll service is down or functioning, everybody knows what that means. Paychecks. Integrating all these systems, though, and identifying and relating those jobs are just the beginning of the solution because there can still be issues. You've got those 30 processes collected. You've got them together. But really, you're still in a cave where the sound makes them hard to locate, and they all look the same. So your billing manager down here, he needs to know, is his process going to be completed in time? So he calls and asks, when's it going to complete? What stage is it? What's its status right now? The help desk guy understands that it's the billing process, and so he calls the scheduling manager to see what's going on using the terms and verbiage that the billing manager gave him, and tries to relay that to the scheduling manager, who goes out and he has to do a certain amount of translation so that he can figure out that XQ49 is actually the one for the billing. So there's a disconnect here between all of this. Understanding is difficult. So the first thing we need to do, and this is where Control M comes in, is moving all of this information into a single pane of glass, so that you can see cross-platform, cross-application relationships between the jobs. Now, what's a job? It's a file transfer, maybe a Unix script, a Hadoop job. All these jobs are part of the specific business process that when you put them together, they really form a business application or a service like billing or your app or the Amazon app. Many of these jobs, when they're connected and perform the complete billing process. So how do we provide that necklace, that visibility, so that you can see what's going on? So Control M, you're able to see that entire flow from creation and to real-time monitoring and the ability to analyze historical data. So you're going to have all those views of the system, planning it, monitoring what's going on, historical, and then forecasting. Here, each job is each box is a job, and we color code them so that you know what their state is. Green is good, it's ended okay. We're going to see some other colors, red being failure. Yellow means processing, executing currently. So what does this look like? Well, you combine all those jobs into a single interface. single pane of glass for your organization. It allows you to see how those jobs relate to other jobs in your organization. And doing this through Control-M, through its industrialized back end, with the necessary high availability and capacity so that it can perform the work that's needed, and delivered here through a presentation layer, it's going to provide the visibility that your organization needs so that it can effectively manage these jobs. It still sort of looks like a mess. You've got Hadoop jobs, Informatica jobs, SAP jobs, everything that needs to happen in order to send bills here at the end of the month. So Control-M helps you create an optimized infrastructure across all these disparate technologies. Together, they form that business service, and we can help summarize those into a meaningful service view. So this task that I've highlighted, that's the last job in the billing application. When this job completes, the billing statements are ready and it needs to complete by 6:30 in the morning. So we need a way of monitoring the entire critical path across all platforms and applications. What absolutely, positively has to run for us to get our billing out? And so we add this service level component so that it can dynamically identify and highlight the entire service view. It filters out noise so that we can focus on what matters to the business. Now, notice we had some red in there, and once we filter that out, we really have no red that's impacting the delivery of the billing job. They may be something that needs to be dealt with, but it's not going to impact the delivery of the billing job, which is where the SLA really lies. So you've got this visibility into the specific service workflow, and from looking here out of thousands of jobs, that hey, we've got one here that looks like we're having some problems with. Right away what service that impacts and what's going on with that. So if we go to the system, it's going to give you actionable intelligence. So you've got real-time and historical information right at your fingertips. You can predict your need for greater capacity, take preventive action. Take preventive actions before they occur. You can even watch the application from the perspective of the user, so that you can ensure that potential SLA breaches are discovered well before anyone calls into the service desk. So you can see for each service how much time you have left, when you're going, and if you're going to be late, when you're going to be late. So now you're starting to be proactive rather than reacting, sweating out those phone calls from the help desk. You're actually being proactive, seeing when there's going to be a problem, and it gives you something called slack time here, where you actually understand how much time you've got in there to resolve this. If the job continues running late, there's 42 minutes of slack time. As long as we don't run too far past normal, we're still going to have slack time. The tool allows you to do trending analysis, so you can predict the points in time when a process is not going to complete, not just while it's running here. You're able to do what-if scenarios to predict that, and really help you translate between IT and the IT consumer, so that they can drill right into their service, see what jobs make it up, and have all this information at their fingertips. Now, with that information at their fingertips, a lot of users are going to want to see this information for themselves in self-service applications. They're no longer users are no longer tied to their desks. They're using cell phones and tablets to get their work done wherever they are, as well as support themselves when they've got a question, they've got a problem. So a self-service portal allows your users to be self-sufficient. It's going to eliminate calls to your help desk and perform that translation between IT and the business that has to come through people. A lot of times organizations see 60 to 80% reduction in help desk calls related to IT automation. So, when will my job complete? When will my job run tonight? All those type of calls to the help desk can end because they can see it right there from their device or from their desktop. So if you've summarized all those thousands of jobs that your business had into meaningful services, there's information there really that sort of the sum of is greater than the whole. Anybody can pick up their phone now and see how well an app is doing. You've got that now, that fluorescent necklace for the cave. But Control-M really provides people in IT and the people that use IT with an intuitive, anywhere, anytime, any device experience so that they can work efficiently and effectively wherever and on whatever platform they need to. It's really a friction-free user experience. The process of creating these workloads really is as simple as a drag and drop interface. If you've got a payroll service or the Your App service, it's just a simple drag and drop interface. You bring in those jobs from those different systems. You'll have access to the systems that you need. There's security around it, so you'll only have access to those systems that you're supposed to. And this spans across all systems. So rather than these jobs all being siloed and the systems being siloed, it's all together here in a single, simple, intuitive interface. Linking jobs here so that you understand those relationships and those dependencies. So taking it a step further, that information is perfectly suited for DevOps. Control-M can be deployed securely to application owners so that it can assist in rapid change and continuous deployment. It's all part of shifting left and becoming more agile. So while the billing application might be something that's stable, the regulations change, and that causes changes to be required to those billing apps. Business may also have maybe new offers and customer incentives, so all that drives change around this particular app. Now, without something like Control-M, all that's going to be done through spreadsheets, approval processes that involve translation, understanding on both sides of the equation. But with Control-M, through a standard web browser, the user can create or modify their own flows. During the modification process, standards can be enforced to ensure compliance with corporate business rules and regulatory requirements, naming conventions. So finally, the flow can be submitted electronically so that operations can review it and implement it. So through the whole process, there's no translation that has to occur. Each group can see it from their own perspective. You're able to quickly see what was added and changed based on the icons in the tool. All this really enables change to be pushed out to an app dev team quicker and eliminating wait times and latency. So how does this happen? In the change process, as well as larger releases and deployments, there's usually a testing phase. So it's common for development to push the change through multiple phases for example, dev, QA, maybe then finally to production. So in many cases, promoting the change to the next environment means changing the same parameters. You've got to go in and, what system is it pointing to? What are the details about the system, including login and password? It's fraught with potential for error. And being able to automate that promotion drastically reduces error and maintains efficiency in the deployment pipeline. So regardless of what type of change is being processed or what deployment models you might be using, Control-M is flexible and agile so that you can get that done, get that in your DevOps agile method. The one constant in IT is change, whether it's end-user requirements, applications, or regulations. IT is always changing, so this is one of the ways that we can increase agility without adding risk. as things change in your workload environment, they're often growing as well. So integration with more applications means increased processing under a single port of control. All that information in one place means retention and compliance requirements are going to be prevalent. There's going to be rules about output and log management. Control M allows your administrators to set those policies for output and log retention so that you can store what you need to store. But it's more than just storing it. We also provide ways for you to easily access it so you can do what you need to do. Instant access to that archived data, whether it's through a client, excuse me, the web interface or through the mobile apps. Enhanced features let you compare output or log files, and you've got advanced search capabilities so you can really dig into those logs to find the information that you need. We've also metrics being gathered about the processes in the complete change process so that we understand what changed, when it changed, and by whom. So all of this really is part of an integrated reporting facility. We've got many examples of standard reports in the system. As you move from maybe your current scheduling tool to something like this with a self-service workload automation, we can use specific auditing to see who did what, when they did it, or even turn on a complete full audit for all activities. So when things go wrong, the first question that's always asked is, what was changed? So the tool allows you to answer that question. And the other examples exist too, like SLA attainment, trending, anything you need here in the reports to fully understand and have visibility into your environment, that glow-in-the-dark necklace. So recently, Control M replaced the infrastructure of the solution for the reporting facility. So one of the big advantages of this is it's going to be significantly easier to create reports. So that means lower cost to you when you've got a custom report that you need developed. A lot of information can be generated from these reports. Information on batch activity, auditing reports, trend analysis, and more. Really nice feature of the tool that was useful before, but they've really expanded it in the last couple of releases. Run a little short on time. Let's jump over that one. So we talked about Control M's ability to manage your application. We really have talked about managing Control M. If you're using a tool like this, you're going to be heavily invested in it. It's going to be critical to your environment. We're going to provide you automated client deployment, allowing your administrators to ensure that users are up to date. Automated agent deployment and patching with zero downtime, so you reduced your total cost of ownership, improving your infrastructure optimization. Excuse me. We've also got agentless technology as well. So real quick, the sort of the architecture for Control M. There's the Control M client, where really sort of the administrative tasks are performed. You've got a self-service interface for your end users and anyone that needs to do file transfers, all within the same tool. Application integrator, so that the interface to help write those connections to those tools that we might not already have something built for. Change manager. So that, and this happens through the web, so that change can be managed and governed through the tool. These are all available through the Enterprise Manager. When we talked about the data logs and everything, retention policies, those can be pushed off to archiving, so that it doesn't impact searching that information doesn't impact the current system. And then within that current system, you've also got your Control M for mainframe, and then distributed systems. Those all involve agents. With distributed system, we also have agentless hosts as well, so that we can interface with those systems. We've also got a stripped down Control M workbench that's coming as well. It is that's here as well. It's a sort of the web version of the client, of the development side for the client, so that staff can access this from a web client as well. Control M is BMC is constantly innovating. They basically put 25% of what they make from Control M back into development, so that they stay current on connectors, those integrations that they need. These are just a few things that they've done in the last 3-4 years to get up to speed, and there's constantly more going on. Benefits from Control M really is end user visibility. That fluorescent necklace in the cave helps eliminate calls to the help desk. Early detection and prediction of when SLAs may be missed. Quicker time to production, partly through the DevOps features, as also eliminating the translation and the risk associated with that translation. Simplifies analysis after there's been an SLA breach. If something changes, who changed it, when, and what, you've got full audit capability so that you can see what's going on and you understand what's happening. Get in touch with us. We can help in this area if you want your own fluorescent necklace. We can help with a workload automation assessment, help identify what you're doing in your current workload environment, and help you identify potential areas of risk, areas where we might be able to help you to automate and provide best practices. Got some stats here. I won't read these to you though. These are some real stats from customers gathered through SurveyMonkey, not through BMC. So that's all I have today. I'd love to take any questions. We've only got a couple more minutes left. Sorry about the technical problems earlier. Let me know if I can help in any way, answer any questions.
So we don't have any questions. We kind of had a comment, and it's the first time I've ever heard anybody say this. They're saying that the CMT reporting may be limited. Can you elaborate on how that works?
So the tool previously used a Crystal Reports interface, and there were some limitations with that Crystal Report functionality, the infrastructure, how it could get to the data, and really what happened is that some customers were asking for reports that just weren't possible with Crystal Reports, and so BMC has changed that infrastructure, and so now the new reporting tool is better suited for the type of reports that we need out of the system. So if there are new problems with that, I'm not familiar with that. My understanding is that the new reporting engine and infrastructure has resolved some of the problems that were there in the past.
So, John, if that is the case, if you're still having some issues, reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you about it. Maybe we can help you out. It sounds like maybe something's not, you haven't updated, or something's not working correctly for you. Like I said, I have not heard of anybody complain about that recently. I thought everything was good with that, so I appreciate your answer, Bobby. And John, definitely reach out to us. Reach out to me, rich.longo@flycastpartners.com, or call us at 844-359-2278. That's 844-359-2278, and we'll help you get that resolved. Folks, are there any other questions out there? I don't see any other questions in the queue. I appreciate everyone who attended today. If you do have further questions, email me direct, or call us, or chat with us online. We'll be happy to help you out. 359-2278. That's 844-359-2278, or email me at rich.longo@flycastpartners.com, and we'll go take it from there. Bobby, thank you for taking time out of your busy day to present today.
No problem. Thank you, Rich, for having me.
Folks, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to join us for another Flycast Partners webinar. Be sure and check out our webinars next week. We have 3 webinars next week, and at the end of the week, we've got ITIL 4. We're unveiling it all. We're showing it all next week with ITIL 4. So you definitely want to join that. And until next time, have a great weekend.